Yo, you're listening to Yes Is It Two? I'm your host, Pri,
And this is Tarun.
and today we're previewing the IPL.
Woohoo!
Oh, yes, is it too?
I see that your order is different from my
You can
order.
start in your order.
Yeah,
My
my
order
order
is
is alphabetical order.
okay.
It's
That
just
works.
easier. Okay, let us start with CSK at the bottom last year.
Oh, CSK was at the bottom last?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
I think so.
Let me
Just
check.
search for it. Yo,
At the bottom.
number 10.
But they won four matches
Four,
still at
yes.
okay. So at the end they started winning, but they still were last.
Yes. So I think for me, the big question for CSK is, are they able to come out of A, the trauma of that thing, and B, rebuild around a new core, seeing as Jeddu has left and Sanju Samson has come in. I think for me, that signals a new like era or a new transition, giving themselves a new sort of younger core.
Mm-hmm.
But also I think that means they have to go back to the drawing board in terms of strategy and their pace in winning these kinds of matches. Last year, they struggled a lot
Yeah.
outside of their home stadium, right outside of Chepauk. It was hard for them to
Yep.
win. That seems to be the question for me. Also, the under 19 captain, Ayush,
Mm-hmm.
is in the side. So that should be, with him, with Sanju, it's an interesting shakeup. Also, Dual Brevis is there. So I think as an opening pair, Brevis and Sanju could do some.
Yeah. Agreed. I think they are moving from dad's army to youngsters army, which is
Yes.
good. And I think they have all the players needed for switching after Dhoni leaves. So now they will build the fan base. I think Dhoni would just be transferring it to the
Hmm.
next, and that should be it. Sanju Samson is a very good inclusion,
Hmm.
and they removed Jadeja at the right time, in my opinion,
Hmm.
because इस बार नहीं तो नेक्स्ट बार निकलने ही वाला था वो
Hmm.
तो उनको संजू सैमसंग मिल गया दे हैव अ कैप्टन लाइक अ एट
Yeah,
लीस्ट
to
अ
build
बैक एंड
around.
कैप्टन इफ नीडेड नहीं तो ऋतुराज कैन टेक द टीम फॉरवर्ड अगर टीम परफॉर्म करती है तो ऋतुराज कैन स्टे अदरवाइज दे कैन मूव टू संजू दे हैव एन
बट यू
ऑप्शन
डोंट थिंक ऋतुराज का फिर से साइडलाइन हो जाता है कि जैसे धोनी भी था तो धोनी के अंदर like not in terms of a personal thing, right? They enjoy playing with Dhoni. Obviously, there's a lot to learn from somebody like that. But your title or your authority as a captain, when you are, it was just sort of overshadowed for Gaikwad as well underneath Dhoni. And then in the time when the first time he took the captaincy, Dhoni was still captaining for half of it actually. So I feel like for a player like Gaikwad, also in the overall Indian side, right, is also he
Yeah,
quite loses his place out to a
correct.
lot of these other people. So,
बट आई थिंक द फर्स्ट चॉइस शुड बी ऋतुराज
hmm,
अगर टीम नहीं परफॉर्म करती है या फिर से ऑल लॉसेस होते हैं शुरू में सो देन दे कैन स्विच ओवर रादर देन टू धोनी
to
दे कैन
Sanju.
स्विच टू संजू
Yeah, I think Sanju
और
has
मुझे लगता
a
है मौका पूरा देना चाहिए ऋतुराज
hmm,
को इवन इफ दे आर आउट ऑफ द 26 आईपीएल
hmm,
अगली बार यू कैन ऐड संजू क्योंकि बीच में स्विच करने में मेरे को बिल्कुल भी वो नहीं लगता सेंस नहीं बनता है क्योंकि यू हैव ऑलरेडी लॉस्ट एंड देन ऋतुराज इज अ यंगस्टर सो
hmm,
यू कैन ट्रेन हिम इफ
yes.
यू आर लॉस्ट बट संजू कैन बी ए ऑप्शन इफ यू वांट टू टेक द फ्रेंचाइजी फॉरवर्ड कि लग रहा है कि लोग निकल रहे हैं बिकॉज वी आर लूजिंग टू मच देन यू कैन स्विच ओवर टू संजू बिकॉज ही इज समवेयर इन दैट लाइक समवेयर फ्रॉम केरला क्लोज एनफ वो
Hmm.
भी बन जाएगा फैन बेस तो दैट वे इट इज गुड बट दे शुड फोकस ऑन ऋतुराज इन माई ओपिनियन जो धोनी करता था दैट कैन बी डन बाय
By
संजू
Sanju, yes.
बट
Agreed.
देन या स्विचिंग शुड नॉट हैपन इन दिस आईपीएल
Hmm.
एटलीस्ट क्योंकि अगर होता तो फिर दे should have directly made Sanju the captain once they
Hmm.
acquired him. They should just have said that okay, Sanju is the captain, not Rituraj, but they did not do it. So
Hmm.
ideally, Rituraj would remain the captain. और मुझे लगता नहीं संजू को चाहिए भी.
या मेरे को
He's
लग रहा है
okay.
संजू का वैसे जो केएल राहुल का है कि
Hmm.
मेरे को अच्छे से करना है एंड आई वांट टू बी लाइक अ कोर पार्ट ऑफ द टीम
Correct.
कोर पार्ट ऑफ द डिसीजन मेकिंग आल्सो बट without the pressure or the obligation to the title.
Yeah. Agreed.
Although there's also something to be said for Sanju's RR exit being part of this like in the leadership but not so much getting the ability to execute as per his whatever or seeing also at RR that the leadership was eventually to move away from him, right? With that core of
Yeah.
Jurail and Jaiswal and Riyad Barak is
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
where they are headed as well. So you need to find somewhere where you can sort of spread your wings.
Yeah.
Question for you. Do you think Rahul Chahar finds his way into the playing 11 or he kind of is
So Rahul Chahar, right? So he is a spinner,
uh,
and they have how many spinners?
their big bowling core is mostly
Pacers.
pace, yeah. So Nathan Ellis, Henry, Anshul Kamboj, and वो क्या है Khalil Ahmed, है ना?
Correct. But depending on the team that they have,
Yeah, I think it's quite difficult for him to get into the
yeah,
playing 11.
but
Yeah,
he might.
26.
They might
Last
start.
year he was at Sunrisers and now he's in Chennai. Who are your players to watch?
Prashant Veer, the
Mm,
all-rounder.
okay,
Prashant Veer.
yeah.
He was sold for 14, right?
Prashant Veer is supposed to be like the Jaddu.
Yeah. So I would look out for him, and he should be in the playing 11
Hmm.
when they start. And there was one other player, right? That they offered 14 crores, uncapped again. What was his name? Aman Khan. So these would be the two.
In terms of return for value.
Yes.
Okay, my answer would be just in terms of like overall narrative. I think obviously Sanju. Let's see how he settles
Hmm.
and what he does.
Hmm.
To me, Dubé is coming off of a good, finding more of a
Yeah.
place in having been in the World Cup winning squad
Correct.
in terms of what he can do in T20. I would like to see him convert that back here into CSK as opposed to what he usually is allowed to do, which is a kind of couple of big hits at the end.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that would be good to see if he can do that. Ayush, like I've said before, how do these are the players I think that take the team forward in terms of the transition and how
Uh-huh.
that will play out.
Yeah.
Next,
Team is alphabetically Delhi.
yo,
Delhi. Let's open Delhi then.
this year is the year. You heard it here first.
For
You
Delhi,
heard it here first. Yes, you did.
Delhi has KL Rahul,
Yo,
Akshar Patel.
yo.
Any new acquires that they did
I don't think it was anything too crazy.
for them, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Which that's like okay to me. I think the Delhi thing is that there's a lot of combinations to be made in the squad in terms of moving them around, and they do try doing that. They have to find very quickly what is the best combination for them and settle into it. They start off really well and it peters out towards the end. They finished fifth last time. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of up and down, which means it is possible, but unpredictable in a certain sense. They need to gel together. They need to find clarity in the role and stick with that as opposed to floating up and
Mm-hmm.
down.
Mm-hmm.
Lower order tends to struggle, even
Yeah,
though there's some great
definitely.
Stubbs and Ashutosh have great ability, but they can't seem to turn it on all the time. I think they struggle a lot under pressure. They have a interesting top order that is able to do a lot, but in times that they don't perform to their capability, I don't think the lower or middle order is strong enough or consistent enough to continue picking them up.
So you would say the weakness is the lower order,
Yeah,
middle lower order.
yeah. And then I also like on paper, the bowling depth is quite good,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes it doesn't seem to manifest in the actual match settings. I think actually Stark not being there is going to be a big detriment.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, you have Akshay and you have Kuldeep.
Correct.
It's a great duo to work with. I think to me that's the strongest pair out of this bowling pack. Lungi from South Africa also had a good
Mm-hmm.
season
He's a
of his
good
own,
T20
right?
bowler, yeah.
So looking forward to that. And then Nissanka in the batting had a sort of mixed bag in the World Cup, but he did also make his 100.
Correct.
So hopefully that transfers out over here. And I do like I really do think it could be it could be the year. I think it's been a long time coming. This seems to be the era of sort of, if we look at RCB, Punjab, Delhi, like these are the teams that are have been diligently working towards a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at this point, Delhi has been under every possible combination under the sun.
Yeah,
And in my in my opinion, it feels like it's time.
for them to move forward.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it would be they like they. I think they bought David Miller, right, this
Hmm.
time from GT.
Hmm.
So that is a good buy.
Hmm.
That would change their lower middle order finishing
Hmm.
kind of, because
Problem. Yeah.
yeah, David Miller is a good choice. And other than that, Aksar and Kuldeep should be there always in the 11.
Hmm.
If the pitch is supportable, then yeah, otherwise one of them can play. Aksar will, I think, obviously play. Kuldeep would be in and
नीतीश
out.
राणा भी तो आया अभी.
हाँ, नीतीश राणा है, करेक्ट. बट नीतीश राणा से इतना कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आता
हाँ,
है,
yeah,
लेकिन
no, I agree.
आई वुड प्रेफर मिलर.
Hmm.
एंड नीतीश राणा इज अ मिडल ऑर्डर, राइट, लोअर
Yeah.
मिडल पे वो भी नहीं कर सकता. सो ऑल इन ऑल दे हैव अ गुड बैलेंस टीम. वीकनेसेस में तो मेरे को यही दिख रहा है कि जब तक स्टार्क नहीं आएगा,
तब
तब,
दिक्कत होगी.
हाँ,
That's true.
तब तक दिक्कत होगी. बट दे हैव अ चॉइस इन एनगीडी,
Hmm.
हु इज अ गुड T20 बॉलर एटलीस्ट. वनडे में नहीं कर पाता है, लेकिन T20 में इज अ गुड बॉलर. ही
Yeah.
हैज अ लॉट ऑफ वेरिएशंस. एंड ये आशुतोष शर्मा, लाइक ऑलवेज पंजाब के लिए करता था, अब दिल्ली के लिए करना चाहिए उसको
Hmm.
फिनिश के लिए. तो इसलिए मुझे लगता है आशुतोष शर्मा और डेविड मिलर मिलके फिनिशिंग का
Yeah.
वो कर लेंगे.
So would you put Stubbs a little bit up then?
Stubbs can go, yeah, I think number 4 would be my Stubbs.
Hmm. And who
5
who do you
Miller,
think should open with Rahul?
Abhishek Porel.
I think you could probably put Nisanka in because Nisanka has that problem. चलता है तो चलता नहीं चलता है तो आ जाता है, which is where I think an opener should. It's more of a gambling wicket to have him. KL to रखो one पे,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think we probably can put Nisanka in at 2. Abhishek Porel can come down to 3, and you have Stubbs at 4.
Correct.
That would be my.
So you would not bring in Nair, Karun Nair.
I don't know, right? So Nair is there, Duckett is there. One of the, I think it's probably one or the other. I don't think you're getting both.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you have Akshar. Like that to me is a Akshar 6 is where he should be. Also, I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind Akshar coming up to 5
5,
either,
yeah.
because that's one of your can pull it out of the bag, but also if
Correct.
not pull it out of the bag, quite steady. But that also is their overall problem is once the top three fall,
Then they
their
are.
rate comes down quite a bit. KKR also has this problem. But yeah, I think you really balanced up at the top and you are balanced in your bowling, but the rest is sort of like a mixed bag. So just figuring out how to put it together in the best way and sticking with whatever clicks, I think will be their
True that.
thing.
Stark should be coming in soon, I think.
I hope fingers crossed,
हाँ,
man.
क्योंकि उससे इम्प्रूव हो जाएगी उनकी पेस अटैक.
Yeah.
They have spinners. The pace is what they are lacking, but then Ngidi can be an option.
Mm-hmm.
All-rounders they have.
Mm-hmm.
अक्षर पटेल है, नीतीश राणा को खिला सकते हैं चाहे तो. And I think now they have the finishers as well, so
Mm-hmm.
they should be fine. They should be better than the last year at least.
I would like consistency. I would like a trophy. Is what I
Yeah,
would like.
trophies are reserved for RCB guys, so
They have already. It's okay. One we can have also.
sure.
Please.
Next,
GD,
GD it is.
which to me is I feel one of the strongest teams on paper.
What did they change from last year? They
I
are a good team, yeah.
I think that they are overall like systematic, right? Like they are very methodical. They are disciplined, they have a formula, uh, some great bowling in
Hmm.
their ranks, some great bowling. You have Rabada, you have Rashid, you have Siraj, you have Ishant Sharma on the bench from time to
Yeah.
time. Your batting also, obviously, some of your batsmen have not played recently, but like if you look at the overall figures, right, I don't think that it's like so concerning of an issue.
Who do you think should be their captain? Shubman Gill?
Yeah, no, I think Shubman Gill has ddone well in his captaincy
What if
for
Shubman
them.
Gill is not there? Who would be your next captain?
Next captain, I don't know. Like they need a Shubman type captain. Also, Shubman and Nehra, like the way that they are in
Yeah.
tune with each other is quite good. Contra, uncontra opinion, I feel Ashish Nehra is GG in a different font. Okay, it's very much like
But I think Gigi is more
GG is more
strict.
irritating.
Yeah.
Okay, and yes, strict and also like irritating.
Mm.
Um, I think like Nera does quite similar in terms of like his involvement in the way that the captaincy functions or his involvement in giving advice on the field. but he feels still more of like a player's coach as opposed to a philosophy coach. And Gigi feels very much like a
मुझे लगता है अगर वो नहीं होगा तो शुभमन गिल नहीं होगा तो
hmm.
रशीद खान हैज
But yeah, that's
बीन
true.
डूइंग
That's
इट
very
बट
true.
देन जेसन होल्डर भी अच्छा
Hmm.
ऑलराउंडर है एंड फिनिशर है ग्लेन फिलिप्स है which can be a good option if used properly.
I think Glenn Phillips is a good asset overall in
Yeah,
the team.
because his fielding is
Yeah,
crazy.
correct.
I think they don't have to change much. They will open with Shubman Gill and Sai Sudarshan. Butler would be number three.
Yeah, Butler is, I think, concerning to me.
Yeah, I think one last year, if he does not perform, he's out.
Hmm.
He's already 35.
Hmm.
So I think this might be his last year. And
Hmm.
I also don't like Shah Rukh Khan
Hmm.
because he just performs in one out of the 14 or whatever. I think किसी भी टीम के लिए वो नहीं चलता है, सिर्फ
Yeah.
एक आधा मैच चलता है जिससे उसको फिर अगले सीजन भी ले लेते हैं, तो शाहरुख खान को बिठा देना चाहिए, बट या बटलर को लास्ट मौका है मेरे हिसाब से. एंड नंबर हु वुड बी द नंबर 4, सुंदर और फिलिप्स?
Phillips.
आई थिंक दे आर नॉट बैटिंग हैवी बट देन दे ट्रस्ट राहुल तिवातिया एंड शाहरुख खान, तो इसलिए उनके दो प्लेयर वो चले जाते हैं, विच आई डोंट लाइक. राहुल
Yeah.
तिवातिया इज अ फिनिशर बट देन ही कैन ओनली बी अ फिनिशर.
Yeah.
लास्ट के दो तीन ओवर खेल लेगा, उसके अलावा नहीं, और शाहरुख खान मेरे हिसाब से वो भी नहीं कर पाता है. बट या ऑल इन ऑल दे आर द सेम टीम एज द लास्ट ईयर. नाउ दे आर विदाउट डेविड मिलर, सो
Hmm.
they need to
Oh,
fill in
Dikkat
that
hogi.
gap.
That's
Yeah,
true. I see probably like a top four finish for them.
for the GT.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. What do you think about Ishant Sharma? Is it the last season? Because they already have a lot of pacers that they can not play Ishant Sharma also.
Yeah.
He is 37,
Hmm.
so ideally this.
In a nostalgia kick, like you want to see him keep playing, right? So, and I think that some in when they play him, like the experience does
Hmm,
offer a certain advantage in
correct.
places, especially if we're talking about that based on how their batting goes on any given day. Like they are a little bit more reliant on the bowlers to help
Mm-hmm.
see them over the edge in
Yeah,
situations like that, whether or not he's taking the most wickets, his presence
discipline. Yeah.
is helpful. So I also could see him maybe finishing out this last season and transitioning into like an advisory role.
Yeah, possibly. Who would be the four overseas players for GT, in your opinion, that would play the 11? Butler, Rashid,
Yeah, Rabada.
Rabada, and then who would be the fourth? वही चौथा, and Jason Holder can be an option. Phillips है ना? Phillips,
Yeah, that's
Phillips
true.
would be the,
Phillips, we
yeah.
forgot Phillips.
तो मुझे लगता है रबाडा को तो नहीं निकालने वाले, क्योंकि
Mm.
लास्ट ईयर भी रबाडा आ नहीं पाए थे.
Yeah, so that's
Phillips,
pretty.
that's fourth. Yeah. All in all, good set of players they have. What about the KKR?
I feel very meh about KKR this season.
And why is that?
They finished eighth last year. I think if you look at where were they in
Oh
2024,
yeah.
okay, to where they are today, the extreme lack of clarity.
Because
That's
everybody left in 24, right?
yeah, Ayer is not there.
Hmm.
Okay.
GG is not
I
there.
hate giving that man credit for anything. But yes, Gotham is not there as well. Fascinating. Abhishek Nair has come here, right, to be
Hmm.
coach. I think he just like okay at his job, right? Especially when he was
With
a
the team,
batting
yeah.
coach. He's good at that, but I just don't see. There's also no one for him to really dig into and work with.
Hmm.
They also seem to be a little bit more foreign reliant.
Yeah.
Um,
And now they don't have both of those, Russell and
yeah,
Narayan. I don't know if Narayan is there, but
I think Narayan is there.
Russell is not, right?
Russell is not there.
Russell is in the,
Advisory role.
yeah.
Whether or not like he was the most flashy, Andre Russell was always a big core part of like seeing them through.
Yeah.
So that's it is kind of a loss, even though like yes, his expertise and everything is still in there, but like his actual presence on the field is going to be a great attraction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Ajinkya Rahane continues to be up to the task of captaining this side. I think their overall strike rate is a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So who should be the captain? Like, in if not Rahane, then who is the next one?
Rachin ko banao. Let's try something new.
Rachin Ravindra?
Yeah.
I think वो भी नहीं चल रहा है ना.
This team has some explosive pieces, right? But they're not all firing, and they're certainly not firing together.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, why would I give Rechin the captaincy? Not necessarily because he's doing anything
Mm-hmm.
major at the minute, But because it's like you got to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks, like we have to try again, start over.
In my opinion, Rachin would not be in the 11 also
Okay,
to
interesting.
start with, क्योंकि मुझे लगता है इनको फिन एलन से स्टार्ट करना है,
Sure.
and they would need to bring in the कैमरन ग्रीन, क्योंकि
Hmm.
उन्होंने बहुत खर्चा किया है.
But I think that that's a
नारायण,
bad purchase.
yeah, that is a bad purchase in my opinion, but then they will still try
They will
in
have
the
to. They
beginning.
have to
Yeah.
justify it. But it was dumb.
तो इसलिए उसकी वजह से रचिन की जगह चली जाती है, क्योंकि दे विल प्ले सुनील नारायण,
Yes.
दे
They
हैव टू
must
प्ले
play
ग्रीन,
Sunil
या
Narayan.
एंड देन फिन एलन को भी
है
खिलाएंगे.
ठीक है.
तो बस एक ही स्पॉट बचता है, और उसके लिए भी बहुत फाइट है. ये साइफर्ट है,
Seifert है.
पवल है, आई थिंक ये है, मुजरबानी है,
Yes, that's
पतिराना
true.
है. सो दे,
Yeah.
आई थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ देम वुड सिट आउट
Yeah.
जस्ट बिकॉज दे डोंट हैव एनी स्पेस.
Well, just because they spent most of their
Yeah.
purse on Cameron Green.
In my opinion, the four that would play, at
Hmm.
least the start, would be
Hmm.
Finn Allen, Tim Seifert,
Hmm.
Sunil Narayan,
Hmm.
and Green.
And where do you think KKR lines up?
Same, I think, eighth or
Yeah.
seventh, eighth,
Agreed.
somewhere there.
Agreed. I don't see them getting too far again.
बिकॉज कुछ कैप्टन्स वो नहीं है, लीडरशिप नहीं है,
Hmm.
बॉलर्स बहुत ज्यादा हो गए हैं, इतने यूज नहीं होंगे. कैमरन ग्रीन का तो सबसे बुरा ही हुआ है, सबसे. आई थिंक ही इज नाउ, आई हर्ड दैट ही इज, वी आर हियरिंग दैट ही कैन ओनली बोल, he can play less matches or bowl less over, whatever, which does not make sense at all.
And I'll tell you what else is a blow. Harshit is out.
Yeah, but they have a lot of
They have
bowlers,
a lot of options, right? But
but
Harshit is one of those like
he could
they
bat
would
as
have
well.
played him for sure.
Definitely. Being an Indian, that is a hit, but then they can replace him with Akashdeep is also out.
Yeah,
So we only have
struggle.
Vaibhav and Karthik.
It's a struggle.
Or just try Umran Malik.
और वो बहुत टाइम से बाहर बैठा है अंकुश.
Huh? So there, I don't know
That's
what,
the thing. No,
they're all over the place.
they need to do then what CSK was pushed into doing, which is go back to the drawing board, scratch out, and
Yeah.
start again.
RCB did the same
Yeah, RCB did the same.
last
Punjab
year.
did the
Yeah.
same.
They have to
There
do.
has to come a time where you are, and it's so interesting because KKR is one of those franchises that has such a good system to groom players.
Yeah,
The camps that they do, international as well, but in India also, Ankush came out of those camps only, right? And
correct.
you think about when Shubman was there, that was a player that was very much groomed under the tutelage of KKR.
KKR, correct.
They have that ability to put forward these kinds of players, but I don't know, maybe it's like after the Shreyas thing, right? That would have been a good time to go back to the drawing board if you've lost
Yeah,
that
that was the right
captain.
time
Your
actually.
coach is also
Yeah,
you have to pretty much try some new things, but I think they kind of were like, what if we piecemeal and lean back on some of what has worked for us before? But it doesn't seem to continue to take them that much
correct.
forward.
I think they are all over the place. They cannot play Patirana would be a hit.
Mm.
But just because they don't have, I don't know why did buy a player for 25
Yeah, right?
if you already have so many options. क्योंकि बैटिंग के लिए अगर लिया जा रहा है तो बैटिंग में भी यू हैव साइफर्ट, फिन एलन,
Mm.
रहाणे खेलेगा ही, मनीष पांडे खेलेगा ही, रिंकू सिंह है. व्हाई डू यू नीड अनदर बैट्समैन? सो आई डोंट नो, लेट्स सी व्हाट दे स्टार्ट विद. आई थिंक पतिराना कहीं ना कहीं से घुस जाना चाहिए, बट हाउ आई डोंट नो.
Hmm.
Crazy team combination for KKR in my opinion. I think the worst अभी तक जो हमने देखी है
Hmm.
would be KKR in terms of the balance and why they bought Cameron Green.
I think for me, they probably finish in the lowest tier. And right next to them will be their good friend and alphabetical buddy, LSG.
What about these guys? LSG, they have the same combination. Prince Yadav is a good
Hmm.
find if he works out. Mitch Marsh is there.
Yeah.
Mitch,
Markram, Mitch Marsh, Nicholas Puran are your heavy hitters.
oh
This
yeah,
is it.
Nicholas Puran is also there.
And then Pant on a day that it works for him.
पंत should ideally perform this IPL क्योंकि लास्ट ईयर उसका बहुत कुछ नहीं हुआ.
Inshallah.
Only one match he worked.
Inshallah.
Yeah, hopefully he
Oh,
starts.
and Arjun Tendulkar.
Yeah, if given an opportunity. I don't know how many pacers they have, but I think he would not be in the starting 11
Hmm.
क्योंकि they already have Shami and
I would like Shami
Rich.
to do something really out of the box this season, something that makes people be like, wait, Mahmoud Shami is also there.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I think if it doesn't happen for him this season, he's also on the chopping block, sadly. Overall chopping block.
I think he will, from this IPL, he will come
Hmm.
back to the international
Good. I
T20.
would like to see that. I
Yeah.
don't know how I feel about that happening, but I would like to see it.
At least for the next World Cup,
Yeah,
28.
sure.
Yeah. And then there is a one more player, the Mayank Yadav. If he
Yes.
stays fit
Yeah.
and is able to play, then
My player to watch, just because I like think that it's good TV, is
mhm,
probably Big Vish.
just for the TRP.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying, no? And so that's it. I'm like, to me, my overall assessment of LSG, which I think is also their own assessment of themselves, is I don't know.
LSG is a good team.
I think LSG is an unpredictable team and they don't really have a clue about where to go and how to do it.
Yeah, I think
So,
they would get there क्योंकि last year भी same था लेकिन last year they started making sense during the later part of the tournament.
sure.
So this year they might use that and then some of the buys that they still have is Hasaranga. I don't know why.
Huh.
What is the skill that he has? Because it never worked for
Mm,
RCB. So how will it work for LSG? But mostly the players that do not perform
mm,
for RCB then perform in other teams.
sure.
So that could be one that Hasaranga could perform. But other than that, I think all in all, it is a good team. They have all the things needed. Spinners, they have Rathi and yeah, Shahbaz Ahmed and the Hasaranga.
I don't feel like they click. Like even yeah, like it's but it still feels like it's on a lark. I think look like the extended season might be helpful to some of these teams in terms of DC also had that issue where they were doing well, then they weren't doing well, then they started doing well again, but it was like too late, there weren't
True,
enough
yeah.
games left. Here, yes, okay, that means that there is more method for comeback, but I just don't think like we'll see between the Rishabh and Langer combination, like can they work out some kind of strategy?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, Rishabh Pant has performed well as a captain prior, right? He did
Yeah,
well in DC before. We did very miserably last year in the IPL, but in his overall career as a captain, like whether or not he's always like on the mark as a player, he seems to be able to captain quite decently. Should last year be a fluke, maybe I see them coming up a little bit, but I don't really see LSG as like a top four material team either.
for me, yeah, not the top four, but maybe the fifth one
Okay,
would be LSG.
okay, we'll come back to that.
Let's move on to the next one.
To our family.
One family,
वन
Mumbai Indians.
फैमिली यहाँ पे भी फॉरेन प्लेयर का बहुत मारा मारी है
हाँ, लेकिन इनको जरूरत नहीं है.
नहीं है जरूरत नहीं है but the quality also of these names that are fighting each other for one of their international spots
Hmm.
is also that's the thing they a lot of stars I to me like MI is an unlikable team with likable players they have a strong core
Yeah.
it should take them far unfortunately
Yeah, I think
probably will be in the top
they have
four.
the mindset that Aussies have internationally. So in a way they are good there. But और उनको कुछ ज्यादा करने की जरूरत नहीं होती क्योंकि every year the focus is to retain
Yeah,
and they pretty do it pretty well
they
every
are
year.
all, I think, individual cogs in the wheel, right? And they work at it. There is, I think, here the only story to me would be some lack of clarity around the batting order, but that should settle pretty quickly, even
Yeah,
though internally I'm sure there will continue to be chick chick about
correct.
मेरे को count है.
So I think in the team, only one from this, like Quinton and Ryan
Mm,
Rickleton, one of them would play,
yeah,
depending on if they start and that he's performing,
yeah.
then that would stay, other would just sit out.
Hmm.
फिर रोहित शर्मा आएगा, थ्री पे तिलक आएगा, हर जगह इतनी
शायद
रिक्वेस्ट कर दिया है.
शायद आएगा बट शायद हार्दिक बोले नो
फोर्थ पे सूर्य
जस्ट फॉर
आएगा.
फन
आई थिंक दे हैव अ वेरी गुड टीम एंड विल जैक्स है,
या
हार्दिक पांड्या खुद है, नमन धीर है
या
फिनिशिंग के लिए, तिलक वर्मा है,
या
सेंटनर है अगर.
so but they had Sandner they need they because in they lack a little bit of depth in their spin
Yeah,
that in that way they're very reliant on Sandner so
Santner.
Sandner definitely takes one of those
But Will Jacks can also do the same that Santner does.
yes but I think
Not at
Sandner
that
does
level,
it
yeah.
better right
Correct.
so to me it's like you're giving a spot to Sandner for sure I would say your other spot would probably go to Trent Bolt as well.
Yeah.
Um, then then you got two.
One
Um,
would be the keeper,
DeCock maybe,
Rickleton,
right?
yeah.
Wrinkleton or DeCock probably are looking at that spot.
Yeah. And then Rutherford.
Yeah.
That would be the fourth. But then Will Jacks and
Then we'll
Rutherford would like
exactly,
switch.
exactly. So in that way, like it's good. I think it's a smart that's smart purchasing, which, I
Yeah,
suppose we should expect from the Ambanis. If you
correct.
don't know how to do business, then what do you know how to do?
And then they have Bumrah.
Yo, death bowling goes crazy
Bumrah can bowl
anywhere.
anywhere, wherever you need
From
to change
take a
the match.
wicket.
Yeah.
Here you go. And he's like, got it.
And the spinner I think they have is Mayank Markande,
Yo.
who could be an option, but center is way better. पर अगर उनको लगता है कि फॉरेन स्पॉट नहीं है, so
Hmm.
then they can maybe go with Mayank because they tried him last year also.
Hmm.
Ashwini Kumar is a very good bowler
Hmm.
in terms of the skills and the variations he has.
Hmm.
So all in all, I think they have a good balance of all the
फिर
things needed.
आउट में चहर है, दीपक चहर है,
Deepak Chahar है.
और शार्दुल भी है,
Yeah,
just hanging out.
yeah,
So a strong team. I think I probably see a top four finish for them. Maybe ideally where they finished last season, which was
yeah,
fourth.
definitely.
Let's just leave them right there.
They will definitely win the top tier, if not
Yeah.
four. Let's move on to Punjab.
The runners up of the last season.
The ones that I want to buy a jersey for,
Yeah, I don't get that. Please explain.
just because it's at a lower cost than RCB, and they also never won an IPL.
Okay,
So
neither have we. So,
DC,
yeah.
DC won when Daredevils were there, right? That counts.
Doesn't doesn't count.
It should. It is the same team, same owner. But now might be Delhi or Punjab would be the ones, if not RCB, would that I would support. Like अगर
Yes.
मुझे पता चल जाता है RCB बाहर है, तो then I might switch over to the one of these two. But I would prefer Punjab over Delhi.
What the hell? What's your problem?
Delhi would be my number three. अगर पंजाब भी नहीं perform करती
Well,
which
I have to. My number three is still up for grabs at the minute. You ask me in 3 weeks if it's Punjab, GT, or SRH, and then I'll let you know.
sure. So what about Punjab? What do you think is the strength? Opening?
Yeah, but I think their core strength is Ponting and Shreyas as a pair. Like before we get into like the technical skill of it, I think that those two are a great combo that are largely responsible for bringing Punjab back into the fray, especially in the last season, like really pushing them into the form of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Never had a season this good, in my opinion.
Yeah,
They are also one of the more sort of volatile teams, uh, explosive in pieces, but sometimes struggling to keep a system going.
correct.
They struggle more against teams with that kind of structure where they know that like hum gaye to dusra hai, to dusra hai, to dusra hai.
Mm.
But I think here Shreyas Iyer is the point of difference in that way. Like
Yeah,
his ability to just sort of click and stay clicked
correct.
will push them over the top. Nihal Vadera is there, who is good, and Prab Simran on a given day is also
Yeah.
right.
I think they were a team that कि पता नहीं क्या होगा लेकिन
होगा.
starting last year
हाँ.
because of a year and
Yeah.
pointing they are now in a much better spot.
Yeah, very
People
much.
would trust them more क्योंकि डिसीजंस बहुत अच्छे हो रहे हैं फाइनल में भी पहुंच गए हैं ऑलमोस्ट देयर थे.
But I also think that comes from the top, right? That if you are looking that of a stature of Iyer and Ponting are continuing to put trust in you or telling you
करेक्ट.
just go forward and do it, then these other guys are able to perform and perform in a way where they're doing it for themselves but doing it for each other. Someone like Shashank.
या शशांक सिंह.
Yeah, which is again, it's one of those like they are not overly consistent,
हम्म.
but I think their strategy seems to be this sort of like maximize and then like it's less about preservation and more about like just come and do
या
do what you're training to do every day. They also have a quite decent consistent bowling lineup. I don't see them switching that around a lot either between Chehel, Arsh, and Marco Jansen.
हम्म.
This is quite solid. You maybe have room for one or two more depending on a given day, but I don't see these three moving from
करेक्ट.
their spot.
What do you think about Stoinis? Marcus Stoinis?
It's also someone I wrote down in my sort of batting assets for this team.
Okay, I would differ. I think
Okay,
he should not be in the 11
interesting.
because he can, like, he's same as Hardik Pandya in my opinion. He cannot do both. He
Yeah.
can do either batting
Yeah,
or
but I
bowling.
don't think that they need Stoinis the
The
bowler.
bowler, yeah. So then, as a batsman, if you play him, then you could.
Mm-hmm.
But for them, even in the top order, उसकी जगह बनेगी नहीं because they have a
हाँ.
lot of Indians that they can play.
Hmm.
Starting with Priyansh, Prabsimran,
Hmm.
Iyer, Nihal Vadera, तो चार चले गए.
Hmm.
Now, will you play Stoinis at five, or you would want somebody who could bowl as well, like a Shashank Singh or something? Because Shashank Singh can bowl if needed,
Hmm.
better than Stoinis in my opinion.
Okay.
So that way I would prefer Shashank and then give the foreign spots to some bowlers.
Like
I
एक तो
would go
Jansen
with,
ठीक है.
yeah,
Then
I would go with Loki
okay, yeah.
just to start with to see
How it goes,
how
sure.
it goes. Those two would be my, yeah, in a way then, yeah, Stoinis की जगह
उसकी
फिर
जगह
बनती
तो
है.
है यार.
जगह तो
It's
बनती
not
है.
like that's another thing Punjab I think is balanced in terms of not looking for out of left field. Like they didn't do anything overly crazy in their auctioning either. There is a
Yeah,
little bit of like Australian reliance, right? If
correct. That way would be preferred just because of the,
yeah.
yeah,
So, I think they have the potential to do well again. It seems relatively on like both teams, I would say Punjab and RCB seem relatively not like they're trying to do anything different this season. It's just kind of go forward and
correct. Agreed. Not much changes in the team from last time also. So the other player that we did not talk about is this Omar Zai.
hmm,
He could be basically either Stoinis or,
or him.
yeah.
Yeah.
ये भी ठीक है. I think they will finish in the top tier at least.
Hmm.
So for RR,
Hmm.
what do you think about the Jaddu move? Should he be the captain then Riyan Parag?
I think Yashasvi should be the captain instead of Riyan Parag.
यशस्वी के पास अभी वो स्किल नहीं है मेरे हिसाब से.
यार बट यशस्वी आई थिंक यशस्वी को जब अगर कोई देगा तब
तो भी वो
यशस्वी के
खुद
अंदर
नहीं
वो
करेगा.
स्किल हाँ दैट्स इट ही नीड्स इट बिकॉज अभी अभी बहुत हर साइड से पिट रहा है आई थिंक कि यहाँ से मेरा नंबर जा रहा है यहाँ से मेरा नंबर जा रहा है यहाँ से कोई मेरे को कुछ कह रहा है यहाँ सो ही नीड्स अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ दैट कॉन्फिडेंस एंड आई थिंक overall for the team and also for Jaiswal, the loss of Dravid as a coach is actually a bigger blow than we are painting it out to be. I feel a little eager to see, Kumar Sankara back in the mix. What will that be like? I don't know. I
I
think,
think a very good substitute for Dravid.
yeah,
So it could be the best. अगर उनको switch करना ही था
yeah,
because of
for
whatever
11-1 or
reason. Yeah,
whatever. That's not a bad trade. I think Jaddu in the mix will be able to give what we're saying Dhoni does right now, or what Sanju is hopeful to do in the future. ठीक है, if Jaddu is like sunsetting, these are his last few
yeah,
IPLs. This is a good place to see them out. You come back to where you originally had been, and you are mentoring the likes of Jurail, Jaiswal, Suryavanshi. Yeah, good lineup here. You have those guys also. Then you look in your bowlers. You have Archer, you have Bishnoi.
correct. But I think they are, the weakness would be the pace
Mm,
because Archer भी कोई इतना अच्छा नहीं है, not
sure,
in form, and then there is no one else that I can see
sure.
other than Sandeep Sharma,
Mm.
who is also hit or miss.
In terms of international players, I would say you're playing Archer, maybe you're playing Sam Curran and Hetmeyer. I don't
Sam
know.
Curran is not there now.
Is it?
Yeah, he has withdrawn.
Shit.
So Sam Curran is gone. They might be looking for a substitute, but then yeah, I think it is good for them actually. क्योंकि मेरे हिसाब से Sam Curran,
No?
he's not a T20 player but a very
Mm,
good ODI player in
mm.
my opinion. तो इधर बस वो लाइबिलिटी बन जाता है लेकिन ही हैज हैड सीजन्स. सो
Okay.
ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं चल सकता लेकिन आई थिंक बिकॉज ही हैज विड्रॉन सो दे आर नाउ लुकिंग फॉर अनदर वन which they don't have.
Mm,
They don't have much of the fast bowlers.
Hmm.
Sandeep Sharma is one, but
Hmm.
they need at least one more,
Hmm.
which I don't think they have. If Archer is what they want to pick, or
Hmm.
maybe they can pick Tushar Deshpande coming from Chennai. He might be a good option to start with, and
Hmm.
then decide if they want to go ahead with him or not. But yeah, they might also try the Burger
Hmm.
that they are being like उनका second option तो था ही है. So now that they don't have Sam Curran, so he might just be in. Who other than Hetmeyer would definitely be there in terms
Hmm.
of foreign players, and then Archer, and I
Hmm.
don't see they have anybody else. So these could be two and three maybe,
Hmm.
but other than that, there is no one. So they might just not play four
Hmm.
because they don't
Don't
have.
have.
Yeah,
Where do you see them falling overall?
in the lower sixth, seventh, eighth,
Sure.
not in the top five.
I think probably sixth is where
Yeah,
I'm.
possibly.
Now, shall we move on?
To R C B. Haha. Kohli is back. That's it.
Yeah, I don't really have complaints about this lineup or the setup, even. I think it feels quite clear, it feels quite balanced, doesn't seem to be too much change. Obviously, the storyline is, do they retain a title? Do they get it the second time?
Definitely.
My question is, now that the overall team, the overall narrative is free from this, we need a cup,
Yeah.
is that releasing them to play better? Are they playing with less riding on everything that they're doing? Or is that freedom like having released too much pressure? There's not.
I think option two.
Yeah, that it's a little bit
Yeah.
less ruthless because we've done one.
Yeah.
But I don't see that.
And even for the fans, right? They have
Yeah,
defended it for 18 years now. They
yeah,
won. They can
yeah.
live just by the same RCB that was for 10 more years and then see कि अब तो करने लग
Next,
जाओ फिर
yeah.
से.
I think obviously it was a massive thing, and so many of them had been in the side long enough or had come in and gelled so quickly that it was like everyone felt that same sort of emotional weight of it.
Mhm.
But some of them are very much these like, okay, like get back to work kind of guys.
Yeah.
So I think that that should help them out.
What do you think about the Venkatesh Iyer inclusion? Where will you play him?
Venki and Nitish
Hmm.
both being split and removed from KKR is an advantage to the rest of the teams because the two of them, when they were together in KKR, I thought were good together.
Mm-hmm.
It both sort of like without home, returning to home type vibes, having come here and going to DC.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would be good for them overall. Where do you fit him in this lineup? I don't know. One,
I
two,
don't
three,
see
four,
any
five,
place
six, seven,
because
8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, like
he could be yeah, he's an Indian, so there is a more chances for him playing, but then I don't see a spot yet.
okay, so who's your
The four foreigners.
yeah,
So I have Salt,
yeah,
David,
yeah,
Hazelwood if he's there,
sure.
Shepherd,
Yeah,
Romario Shepherd.
same. Then you know who's not there? Bethel.
Bethel, if we have to put him, then we'll have to put him with Salt on the
Yeah.
top.
So then who do you take out?
Yeah, that is why only one of them would play.
Yeah, correct.
लास्ट ईयर यही तो किया था उन्होंने जब सॉल्ट नहीं था तो बैथल को खिला लिया जब बैथल आ गया तो सॉल्ट को खिला लिया तो
Yeah, but Bethel's doing well.
हम्म
But yeah, I don't feel much unchanged about this team. I think potential to go far, potential to do well again, potential for a repeat. Only if my DC cannot make it to the end.
makes sense.
This is where I ride. And then at the very last,
SRH.
captained by my good friend, my close good friend.
Isan
Yo,
Kisang.
so good to see. So fun, so fresh. Australia really be like, hey, buy us. Hey, see you. Like really.
I think they also have a very good team. with the inclusion of Isan Kisan,
Yo.
they have Travis Head, Klassen.
Yeah.
So I think these two will play definitely.
Yeah.
And the next I would play would be Livingstone,
Yeah.
Livingston, and Pat Cummins.
Yeah.
Those would be
When he
my
comes
top five.
back.
Yeah. तब तक किसी को और खिला लो जो
Yeah, I
मेंडिस
think
वेंडिस
so.
को.
SRH's thing is the bowling is like whatever, but it doesn't really seem to matter because the batting is so deranged. The caliber of the batting or like the range of the batting, how much they are able to accumulate is does enough for them that the bowlers don't usually need to come out and defend them outright.
Mm-hmm. They are batting heavy.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, how does Ishan settle into captaincy and how does that change the whatever? But I don't really see SRH as a team that has, like, okay, under Pat Cummins, they came up with that system or the belief or the way that they play.
Yeah.
And they've just accumulated players that play like that. And Ishan also, since he's come back into the Indian side and just since he's come back overall, even when he was playing Esmat, like that is how he plays. And I think that he has again, like Rishabh, a good track record as captain in other places that he's captained. Whether or not you talk about is that the same scale as the
Yeah.
IPL, it doesn't matter like the IPL. The experience is experience wherever it comes from. I see them doing well. I see them going far. I don't really care for them to win that
Mm.
much. I just care for
Ishan Kishan.
yeah, and I would like Ishan to have a good season, whatever that means. And like I think SRH is a good place for Ishan. I'm not quite sure yet if this is like his forever home, you know?
But I think it would be better than MI.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So,
100%. I think MI like it was a rough time by the end of it. I think he absolutely needed to get out when he was given out. I don't think he probably mentally himself was ready to not be there. But I think in my opinion, it really was the best thing that could have happened to him. I think even post being dropped from the India squad and
mm-hmm.
still being in MI was a rough time for
Yeah,
him
definitely.
going fully back to the drawing board. I think like obviously like being dropped from the Indian side, and this is like more, I guess, more narrative speaking than technical speaking. Like
Mm-hmm.
being dropped at that time was something that stung, but it was soothed a little bit, or he wasn't thinking about it so much because amai mein still apna chal raha hai and whatever. But fir wahan se bhi it was like a
Yeah.
dicey time, right? And it's like you have to very much go back to the drawing board and go back to your basics. And he did in not just in T20, where he then was able to excel once again, but also in playing county and going back and playing test domestics. He
Correct.
did everything that he was being told to do. And even at that time, like it wasn't really giving him much dividend, but he didn't stop doing it.
Yeah.
So all of this feels like very much earned success,
Correct.
something that he's like worked at. I think I would like to see him go somewhere where he becomes the go-to wicket keeper as well. Right here, you're sort of with Klaasen in the mix. Also, you're
No, I think here he would be the keeper.
so
Klassen,
last season, that's what I thought it would be, and
mm,
he did keep for some of the games, but I think a majority of the games Klaasen
Klassen could
kept for.
offer. I think Klassen is anyway should be leaving soon, in my
Hmm.
opinion, just because of his skills and then what he could do. So maybe a couple of years and then it's all Ishan, right?
Yes,
Because
I'd like to see Ishan and Abhishek be like a very solid opening duo. I
Mhm.
think that they could be a great, like if they were to stay in SRH together and they're like captain, vice captain, that would be
Yeah,
crazy. Like I think this is where Abhishek would like to be for a long time if possible. He's had a very good run here. The franchise seems to show a lot of faith in
hmm,
him, gives him a lot of freedom and permission to play as he wants to play.
yeah,
And most of the time, that returns very well for him. In the fan base, also, he's very much appreciated. Like, they love him. I think that way, like, them taking Ishan in, I've seen from what I have seen, is like very nice and welcoming and lovely. Uh, which is again a departure from the MI fan base,
mm,
which, that was a hard time because it's like he's been here pretty much forever and still team is one thing, but the fan base also was sort of like ready to put him on the chopping block. I think that's a hard pill to swallow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whose spot I would give them if I'm saying SRH comes into the top four. But I am saying that I would like really great, great things
So
for
who are your
Ishan.
top four?
Who are my top four? DC is winning, is my top.
Okay.
Let's go from the bottom.
I think the bottom for me would be KKR.
Yeah, agreed.
One above the KKR would be Rajasthan.
Okay, so I would say KKR 10, LSG 9, RR 8.
I would just shuffle the 8 and the 9.
Okay, then
7 would be GT.
interesting. Okay,
Yeah, I think so. There's no other option.
not Thala for a reason.
No, I think they will be definitely in the top 5.
Okay,
So number 7 is, what is your number 7?
I think GT might be like 5 for me.
Okay, so what is the 7?
SRH maybe?
7?
Like the thing is, they just bat so well that I don't like. I think they even if they don't finish top four, they probably finish higher up towards the top four. But these are the three, right? I think my middle is probably SRH, CSK, GT, somewhere in there.
Yeah, same.
I don't know how they
But
would
I think
break
I would
down,
take
but
the 7 to GT, 6 to
okay.
Sunrisers,
Hmm.
5 to Delhi,
Wow.
and the remaining 4
Deep
is the
disrespect. मैंने आरसीबी
Chennai,
को सेकंड पे रखा है ऐसे मत
Chennai,
कर
RCB, Punjab.
एम आई है ना नहीं मेरा तो मेरा टॉप में मेरा डीसी है एंड देन आरसीबी एम आई पंजाब मिडल में कहीं जीटी एसआरएच सीएसके
हम्म।
एंड लास्ट में आरआर एलएसजी
हाँ, तो बस हम एक ही टीम से डिफर करते हैं जो कि है दिल्ली।
ओके तो
That is number 5 and you are
show some respect to your hometown okay show some love and regard from where you come okay
sure. Now we will do a rapid fire. Are you ready?
Dhurandhar
In terms of the value for money,
hmm.
would you pick Cameron Green or Prashant Veer?
Prashant Veer
Riyan Parag or Ishan Kishan in terms of
Ishan
leading?
Kishan
Ishan, very obvious. Impact player rule,
hmm.
yes or no? Would that, like, you want a impact player rule, or is it we are better without it?
I don't think we should be playing an impact player.
Okay. KL Rahul or Hardik Pandya?
KL
Not Hardik Pandya.
no.
Give me a winning score for RCB versus SRH. Whoever performs, like whoever bats first, how much will they score to win?
To win the match.
To win the match.
The SRH for 280 something.
They're winning?
Yeah.
No. Then they have to
If they
lose.
make a 280. But I think if they come under that, then
280 is, yeah, maybe Chinnaswamy, right?
yeah. I think something in the 160 range is a defendable score for RCB, like that they would be able to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Even up to the 200 mark.
Yeah.
Past the 200 mark, especially way up past the 200 mark, which is also an achievable score for SRH, that's not defendable.
Who wins the purple cap this year? Pitch bowler.
Just to piss you off, Varun Chakravarti.
Not gonna happen. I think it would either be Bumrah
हाँ बुमराह तो है ही
or some
सिराज को मिले तो मेरे को अच्छा लगेगा
सिराज का वो लेवल नहीं है मेरे ख्याल से
ऐसे मत बोलो तुम
अब वो आरसीबी में नहीं है, बोल सकते हैं।
ऐसे मत बोलो तुम
रिंकू सिंह और हेनरिक क्लासन in terms of finishers.
क्लासन में भी
Yeah, I would agree. Rinku could be a finisher, but then उसका
रिंकू
बहुत
का थोड़ा कंसिस्टेंट फॉर्म नहीं है आएगा तो फिर वही होगा
And what about the orange cap?
विराट कोहली
अच्छा चलो मैं संजू सैमसन बोल देता हूँ just because that's it, that is it, that is it.
Okay, one question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Pick the following statement which is false. I'm going to give you four statements. You tell me which one is false. Yashasvi Jaiswal has scored the fastest IPL 50.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Gale has scored the fastest IPL century.
Mm-hmm.
Virat Kohli has the most runs in a single IPL season.
Mm-hmm.
And Yusuf Pathan has scored the fastest IPL century by an Indian.
It is either 1 or 4, in my opinion. 2 and 3 are correct, but I would go with 4.
Is the false statement?
Yeah.
Correct. Yusuf Pathan scored a 37 ball 100 in MI against MI in 2010.
बट किसने 33 में बनाई
हाँ
है?
वो सूर्यवंशी ने 35 में बनाए हैं
करेक्ट, अभी
पिछले
बनाई।
साल। हाँ
That's so true and that's so
गुड
cool.
जॉब।